Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that's probably impacted every single one of you listening, the cost of food.
Mm-hmm.
You sent in some research on a company called Farminaut, and they're doing some pretty interesting things to protect crops
Yeah,
and keep those grocery bills from getting even higher.
absolutely.
So Farminaut is using technology in a really innovative way, kind of like a high-tech guardian for farms.
Yeah, they are. It's really almost like having an extra set of eyes watching over the farm constantly.
And today we're going to focus on their work with powdery mildew.
Okay.
You got cucumbers, squash, melons, all those like delicious summer staples
Right.
that can be devastated by this disease.
Absolutely, it's a silent attacker. You might not even notice it at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but this fungal disease can quickly spread and cause serious damage, covering leaves and stems with a white powdery coating and eventually causing them to wither and die.
Oh, wow. And that damage translates directly into lost crops,
Right.
which means less food available and higher prices for consumers.
Absolutely.
One of the articles you shared mentioned that powdery mildew can wipe out a significant portion of a farmer's yield.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge blow, not just for the farmer, but for all of us who rely on those crops.
Absolutely.
So early detection is key here.
Yeah. This is where Farminaut is really breaking new ground. They're using satellites to monitor crops from space,
Well,
literally keeping an eye on the health of plants from hundreds of miles away.
wait, satellites.
Yes.
I have to admit, I'm picturing something out of a spy movie.
Uh-huh.
Are they taking like high-resolution photos of individual plants?
Not quite like that,
Okay.
but it's still incredibly sophisticated. Farminaut's system analyzes data from satellite images to identify subtle changes in the way plants reflect light.
Oh,
These changes can be an early indicator of disease, even before any visible symptoms appear on the plants themselves.
so it's like they have a superpower that allows them to see things that are invisible to the naked eye.
Yeah, it's really quite incredible.
That must be incredibly valuable for farmers.
It is. It gives farmers a significant advantage in the fight against powdery mildew. They can act fast, implement preventative measures, and potentially save their entire crop from being destroyed.
Okay, so let's talk about what farmers can actually do to combat this powdery mildew menace. Obviously, we're all interested in organic solutions, especially when it comes to the food we eat.
Absolutely. And thankfully, there are several effective organic options available. Some of them involve smart farming practices, like planting resistant varieties and making sure there's good air circulation between plants.
Right.
This can help prevent the disease from taking hold in the first place.
That makes sense. It's kind of like how we try to avoid crowded places when we're feeling under the weather.
Exactly. And then there are organic fungicides that can be used to directly target the powdery mildew. Sulfur, for example, has been used as a natural fungicide for centuries.
Oh, wow.
It disrupts the fungal cells, preventing them from growing and spreading.
That's fascinating. Sulfur is such a common element,
Yeah.
but I never knew it had such powerful antifungal properties.
Yeah, it's one of nature's little wonders. Neem oil is another great option.
Okay.
It's extracted from the seeds of the neem tree and contains a compound called azadirachtin, which has potent antifungal properties. Neem oil is biodegradable and safe for beneficial insects, making it a popular choice for organic farmers.
So there's a mix of preventative measures and treatments available, all derived from natural sources.
And what's really exciting is that these organic solutions aren't just good for our health and the environment, they're also becoming increasingly effective.
Oh, wow.
Researchers are constantly developing new and improved formulations, and Farminaut is at the forefront of this innovation.
Speaking of Farminaut's innovation, I have to ask about this Jeevan AI system they've developed. It sounds almost too good to be true. Imagine having a personal farming guru available 24/7, guiding you on every aspect of crop management.
It's a pretty remarkable system. Jeevan AI combines data from satellites, weather reports, and scientific research to provide personalized recommendations to farmers. It's like having a team of experts in your pocket, helping you make the best decisions for your crops.
So it's not just about detecting powdery mildew early on, it's about using that information to create a customized action plan.
Exactly. Jeevan AI takes into account all sorts of factors, including the type of crop, the stage of growth, the severity of the infection, and even the farmer's specific preferences and resources.
That level of personalization seems incredibly valuable, especially for smaller farms that might not have access to the same level of expertise as larger operations.
Absolutely. Jeevan AI helps level the playing field, making sustainable farming practices more accessible and effective for everyone.
So we've got this potentially devastating plant disease, powdery mildew, but we've also got these incredibly innovative solutions,
Right.
from satellite monitoring and organic fungicides to a personalized AI advisor.
It's a great example of how technology and sustainable practices can work together to solve real-world challenges. And we're going to dive even deeper into these solutions and what they mean for the future of agriculture after a quick break.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about how Pharmanaut is using technology to combat powdery mildew in cucurbit crops.
And we're talking about how they're using satellites for early detection and an AI system called Jeevan to provide personalized advice to farmers. But let's dig a little deeper into these organic solutions for powdery mildew control.
Okay.
You mentioned sulfur earlier. I'm curious, what are its limitations, especially in the context of organic farming?
That's a great question. While sulfur is a very effective fungicide and has been used for centuries, it does have some drawbacks.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is that sulfur can be sensitive to temperature.
Oh, really?
If it's applied when temperatures are too high, it can actually damage the plants.
Oh, wow. So farmers need to be really mindful of the weather conditions. I imagine that could be tricky, especially with the increasingly unpredictable weather patterns we've been seeing lately.
Absolutely, and that's where Pharmanaut's technology really comes into play.
Okay.
Their Jeevan AI system integrates weather data and can alert farmers to optimal spraying conditions based on real-time forecasts. This ensures that the sulfur is used effectively and safely, minimizing the risk of crop damage.
That's really impressive. It's not just about having access to the technology. It's about how that technology is integrated to provide a comprehensive solution.
Exactly, and that level of integration is what makes Pharmanaut so unique. They're not just providing a piecemeal approach, they're offering a holistic system that addresses all aspects of powdery mildew management.
Now, besides sulfur, what are some other organic fungicides that farmers can use to tackle powdery mildew?
Another option is potassium bicarbonate,
Okay.
which you might recognize as an ingredient in baking powder.
Really? I had no idea it had fungicidal properties.
It does. It works by disrupting the fungal cell walls, causing them to collapse. Research suggests that combining potassium bicarbonate with horticultural oil can increase its effectiveness.
Interesting. Why is that?
The oil helps the potassium bicarbonate stick to the plant's surface, providing longer-lasting protection.
Okay.
It's a great example of how farmers can combine different organic solutions to create a more robust defense strategy.
It sounds like there's a whole arsenal of natural weapons that farmers can deploy against powdery mildew.
There is, and the research is constantly evolving, with scientists developing new and improved organic fungicides all the time.
Speaking of research, I know you mentioned some cutting-edge technologies that are being explored for powdery mildew management. What can you tell us about those?
One of the most exciting areas is gene editing.
Oh, okay.
Scientists are using tools like CRISPR-Cas9 to make precise changes to plant DNA, potentially switching on or off genes that make them susceptible to powdery mildew.
So they're essentially engineering plants that are resistant to the disease. That sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It's becoming a reality. And it's not just limited to GMO approaches. Researchers are also exploring non-GMO methods to boost natural resistance in cucurbits.
So even without genetic modification, we might be able to breed like super resilient plants. That would be a huge win for organic farmers.
It would be a game changer. Imagine a world where cucurbit crops are naturally immune to powdery mildew. That would mean less reliance on fungicides, lower costs for farmers, and a more sustainable food system for everyone.
That's a future I can definitely get behind.
Absolutely.
Now, you also mentioned nanotechnology. I'm curious, how can something so small have such a big impact on agriculture?
Nanotechnology is all about manipulating materials at the atomic or molecular level, and it has incredible potential in agriculture. Imagine fungicides encapsulated in nanoparticles that are designed to release their active ingredients only when they come into contact with powdery mildew fungi.
So it's like a targeted strike, minimizing the impact on the environment and beneficial insects.
Exactly. It's about maximizing efficacy while minimizing unintended consequences. And nanotechnology could also lead to more effective treatments because the fungicide would be delivered directly to where it's needed.
That's amazing. It's like a smart bomb for plant diseases.
And then there are nanosensors that could detect powdery mildew spores in the field, providing even earlier warnings than satellite imagery.
So it's like having an army of microscopic spies constantly monitoring the crops for signs of trouble.
It's pretty mind-blowing stuff, and it highlights the incredible pace of innovation in agriculture. These technologies are not just science fiction anymore, they're rapidly becoming a reality.
It's certainly an exciting time to be following this field. Now, with all this talk about cutting-edge technologies, I can't help but wonder about the role of artificial intelligence. We've already seen how Pharmanaut is using AI with Jeevan, but are there other ways that AI could be used to combat powdery mildew?
Absolutely. AI is poised to revolutionize the way we manage plant diseases in countless ways. For example, imagine AI-powered image recognition systems that can analyze pictures of plants and automatically detect powdery mildew symptoms.
So it's like having a digital plant doctor that can diagnose diseases with just a glance.
Exactly. This would be a huge time saver for farmers and could lead to earlier interventions, preventing widespread outbreaks.
And what about predicting outbreaks? Can AI help with that?
Absolutely. Researchers are developing machine learning algorithms that can analyze vast amounts of data, like weather patterns, soil conditions, and historical disease outbreaks to predict where and when powdery mildew is likely to occur.
So it's like having a crystal ball that can forecast the future of plant diseases.
It's getting pretty close to that. This predictive power would allow farmers to take preventative measures, potentially stopping outbreaks before they even start.
That would be a true game changer.
Absolutely.
And I imagine that as AI technology continues to advance, we'll see even more innovative applications in agriculture.
Without a doubt. AI has the potential to transform every aspect of farming, from crop management and pest control to resource optimization and supply chain logistics.
It's incredible to think about how technology is shaping the future of food. But before we get too carried away with the futuristic visions, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about a more holistic approach to pest management.
You're talking about integrated pest management, or IPM?
Exactly. Can you give us a quick overview of what IPM entails and how it relates to powdery mildew control?
IPM is a multifaceted approach to pest management that combines various strategies to minimize the use of pesticides.
Okay.
It starts with careful monitoring of the crops to identify potential problems early on.
So it's like being a detective looking for clues that something might be amiss.
That's a great analogy. And once a problem is identified, IPM focuses on using the least toxic methods of control first. This might involve things like cultural practices, biological control agents, or even physical barriers.
So it's about using a combination of strategies to create a layered defense.
Exactly, and pesticides are only used as a last resort and only when absolutely necessary. What's great about IPM is that it's not just good for the environment, it can also be more cost-effective for farmers in the long run because it reduces the reliance on expensive pesticides and can lead to healthier crops.
It's a win-win situation for everyone, farmers, consumers, and the planet.
Absolutely. And Pharmanaut is a big proponent of IPM, incorporating it into all of their solutions. For example, their satellite technology and Jeevan AI system both play key roles in implementing IPM strategies.
I can see how that would work. The early detection provided by the satellites allows farmers to intervene before the problem gets out of hand, and Jeevan AI can recommend a range of IPM strategies, helping farmers choose the most appropriate options for their specific situation.
Precisely. It's all about using technology to support a more sustainable and holistic approach to agriculture.
And speaking of technology, let's dive into how Pharmanaut is using satellites to revolutionize powdery mildew detection. Can you tell us more about how that actually works?
Absolutely. It all starts with the fact that powdery mildew actually changes the way plants reflect light.
Huh, I never would have thought of that.
It's pretty cool. And Pharmanaut satellites are equipped with sensors that can detect these subtle changes in light reflection even before any visible symptoms appear on the plants.
So it's like they have a superpower that allows them to see the invisible.
You could say that. And this early detection is critical because it gives farmers a head start on managing the disease. The information is then relayed to farmers through Pharmanaut's app, providing them with real-time insights into the health of their crops.
So it's not just about collecting data. It's about making that data actionable and accessible to the people who need it most.
Precisely. And that's what sets Pharmanaut apart. They're not just a technology company, they're a partner to farmers, helping them make better decisions and achieve better outcomes.
Now, I imagine that satellite imagery must generate a ton of data. How do farmers make sense of it all?
That's where Pharmanaut's AI comes in again. They use sophisticated algorithms to analyze the satellite imagery and identify specific areas of concern.
So it's like having a digital scout that can survey the entire farm in an instant.
Exactly. The AI can even generate maps that highlight areas where powdery mildew is present or likely to develop.
That's incredible. So farmers can literally see where the disease is and target their treatments accordingly.
Precisely. And this level of precision not only helps control the disease, it also minimizes the use of fungicides, which is better for the environment and for the bottom line.
It sounds like this technology has the potential to revolutionize the way we manage powdery mildew. Are there other applications for the satellite technology beyond disease detection?
It's incredibly versatile. It can also assess overall plant health by measuring things like chlorophyll content and leaf area index.
So it's like a comprehensive checkup for the plants.
Exactly. And this information can help farmers identify other potential issues like nutrient deficiencies or water stress before they become major problems.
It's like having a crystal ball that can predict the future of the crops.
In a way, yes. And this proactive approach to farm management is essential for maximizing yields and ensuring sustainable agricultural practices.
It's amazing to think about the possibilities, but let's get back to practicality for a moment. How does this technology actually change the way farmers work?
It empowers them in so many ways. First, it eliminates the need for time-consuming and labor-intensive manual scouting.
So farmers can spend less time walking the fields and more time focusing on other important tasks.
Exactly. Second, it provides them with real-time information, allowing them to make more informed decisions about when and where to apply treatments.
So it takes the guesswork out of farming.
Precisely. And third, it helps them optimize their resource use, minimizing waste, and reducing their environmental impact.
It's like a win-win situation for everyone, farmers, consumers, and the planet.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning. As technology continues to advance, we can expect even more innovative solutions to emerge, further transforming the landscape of agriculture.
I'm excited to see what the future holds. And speaking of the future, let's shift our focus to another key aspect of Farminaut's approach, their AI-powered advisory system, Jeevan.
This is where things get really interesting. Their Jeevan AI is essentially a virtual farming assistant that provides personalized guidance to farmers.
So it's like having a team of experts at your fingertips.
Exactly. And what's amazing is that Jeevan is constantly learning and evolving, incorporating new data and insights to improve its recommendations.
So it's not a static system, it's constantly adapting to the changing needs of the farm.
Precisely. And this adaptability is crucial in a field like agriculture, where conditions can vary dramatically from day to day and season to season.
Can you give us some specific examples of how Jeevan AI helps farmers manage powdery mildew?
Absolutely. First, it can analyze historical data, weather patterns, and current disease pressure to predict the likelihood of an outbreak.
So it's like a weather forecast, but for plant diseases.
Exactly. And this information allows farmers to take preventative measures before the disease even appears.
That's amazing. It's like stopping the problem before it even starts.
Precisely. And second, if powdery mildew is detected, Jeevan can recommend the most effective treatment strategy, taking into account factors like the type of crop, the stage of growth, and the severity of the infection.
So it's like a personalized prescription for the plants.
You could say that. And what's great is that Jeevan can even factor in the farmer's specific preferences and constraints, like whether they prefer organic solutions or have a limited budget.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's truly tailored to the individual farm.
Exactly. And this level of customization is what makes Jeevan so valuable.
Now, I understand that Jeevan can also help with fungicide application. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. Jeevan can analyze weather data and disease pressure to determine the optimal timing for fungicide application.
So it's like a precision spraying system.
Exactly. And this is important because applying fungicides at the right time can significantly increase their effectiveness while minimizing waste.
So it's better for the environment and for the farmer's wallet.
Precisely. And Jeevan can even provide guidance on the appropriate application rate, ensuring that the right amount of fungicide is used.
It's incredible how much thought and detail goes into these recommendations.
It's a testament to the expertise of the Farminaut team and their dedication to helping farmers succeed.
Now, I'm curious about how farmers actually access and interact with Jeevan AI. Is it through a website, an app, or something else?
They access it through the Farminaut app, which is available for both Android and iOS devices.
So it's like having a virtual farming assistant in your pocket.
Exactly. And the app is incredibly user-friendly, designed to make it easy for farmers to navigate and access the information they need.
That's great. Sounds like they've really thought about the user experience.
Absolutely. And the app is constantly being updated with new features and improvements, ensuring that farmers always have access to the latest and greatest technology.
Now, I imagine that a system like Jeevan requires a lot of data to function properly. Where does all of that data come from?
It comes from a variety of sources, including satellites, weather stations, scientific research, and even the farmers themselves.
So it's a collaborative effort with everyone contributing to the knowledge base.
Exactly, and this collective intelligence is what makes Jeevan so powerful.
Now, I'm curious about the future of Jeevan AI. What are some of the potential advancements we might see in the coming years?
The possibilities are endless. One exciting area is the development of even more sophisticated predictive models.
So Jeevan could become even better at anticipating problems before they arise.
Exactly, and it could also start to offer more personalized advice, taking into account factors like the farmer's individual risk tolerance and management style.
So it's like having a custom-tailored farming advisor.
Precisely, and another exciting possibility is the integration of other technologies like drones and robotics.
So Jeevan could potentially control an army of robots that tend to the fields.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. And this level of automation could free up farmers to focus on other tasks like planning and strategy.
It's amazing to think about how technology is transforming the way we grow food.
Absolutely. And with companies like Farminaut leading the charge, the future of agriculture looks incredibly bright.
Well, after this deep dive into the world of Farminaut and their innovative approach to powdery mildew control, I have to say I'm feeling quite optimistic about the future of farming.
Me too. It's inspiring to see how technology and innovation are coming together to solve real-world challenges and create a more sustainable and abundant food system.
We'll be right back to wrap up our discussion and share some final thoughts after a short break. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this episode exploring how technology is being used to combat powdery mildew, a disease that can have a huge impact on crop yields and food prices.
Yeah, really fascinating to see all the different approaches.
It's not just about tackling this one disease. What we've been talking about today represents a much larger shift in how we think about agriculture.
Absolutely, it really is.
Like we're seeing a convergence of data analysis, artificial intelligence, and a deeper understanding of plant science, all aimed at creating a more resilient and productive food system.
Yeah, it's amazing to see it all coming together.
One thing that really stood out to me is this focus on prevention. Whether it's satellite monitoring that catches disease early or AI that predicts outbreaks, a lot of these technologies are about getting ahead of the problem.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a really key shift in mindset. Instead of reacting to problems after they occur, we're moving towards a more proactive approach to farming.
And that's going to make a huge difference, not just for farmers, but for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine a world where crop losses due to disease are significantly reduced. That means more food available, more stable prices, and a more secure food supply for a growing population.
That's a really compelling vision. It's important to acknowledge, though, that there are still challenges ahead.
Oh, of course.
One of the biggest hurdles, I think, is ensuring that these technologies are accessible to all farmers, regardless of their size or resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's a risk that these advancements could widen the gap between large-scale farms and smaller operations.
Exactly. We need to make sure that innovation benefits everyone in the agricultural sector, not just a select few.
And then there's all the social and economic implications to consider.
Right.
As automation becomes more widespread, what does that mean for the future of agricultural jobs?
Well, it's a complex issue. While some jobs may be displaced, new opportunities will also emerge, particularly in areas like data analysis, software development, and robotics.
So it's not just about replacing jobs, it's about creating new ones that require different skill sets.
Precisely, and that highlights the importance of education and training programs that prepare people for the future of work in agriculture.
It's clear that technology is playing an increasingly important role in shaping how we grow food. But it's not a silver bullet.
Yeah.
Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's up to us to decide how we want to use these advancements to create a more just, sustainable, and delicious future for everyone.
Well said. I think for those listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about the future of food and inspired you to learn more about the incredible innovations happening in agriculture.
Until next time, keep diving deeper and keep asking questions.